My family disowned me when they discovered my affair issue. Hello, I'm 23, my ex-husband, 27. To put it into context, my marriage was a mistake, it was chaotic, there were money problems, fights, my ex-husband had terrible anger issues that he couldn't control. I had nowhere to go, my relatives lived in different cities. I live in a country where you can't just pack your bags and go rent a room, especially because I didn't have the money to do it. So I tried at least to make things work, but I felt frustrated and above all useless. All the time I justified my ex-husband's behavior because of his anger disorder, because he had a difficult childhood and adolescence. His parents weren't exactly the parents of the year back then, they never physically abused him, but they did neglect him in many ways and even ruined a relationship he had with his old high school sweetheart, causing him a lot of resentment and insecurity. But of course it was not up to me to judge them because I never met them until after we got married. We received a call from them wanting to have contact with their son again, which my husband refused at first. They wanted to give us a wedding gift that consisted of money, and we were drowning in debt that my husband reluctantly accepted. The day of the visit arrived and I was nervous. Our home was humble and I worked hard all week with deep cleaning and having everything tidy and shiny. I prepared a small dinner with the best I could. In a few words I followed each paragraph of the manual of a good daughter-in-law. Dinner was a disaster. My husband behaved like an irrational idiot. He was close to throwing the table on the floor and breaking everything. For their part, my in-laws behaved calmly. They were truly sorry and wanted to remedy their relationship with their son, or so I thought. I just wanted to get away from there. I was about to burst into tears when my husband left the dining room and went to the bedroom saying goodbye to them. He really hated them a lot. The serene voice of both telling me that I was not to blame for anything and how beautiful I was, made me feel what I had not felt for a long time. Comfort. I asked them why things were like this, and they told me that this was not the time or the place to talk about it, so they promised to take me somewhere to eat so we could talk quietly. My mother-in-law took my face and smiled saying you are beautiful. I couldn't feel anything but blush, and my father-in-law added, making a cute little thing cry should be illegal. They really made me smile. We hugged and said goodbye exchanging contact. We texted all the time, during work. While I was doing household chores, my husband's angry episodes no longer bothered me. I just went out to the park to walk and text with them or make a phone call. We started going out, where they explained to me how sorry they were. They wanted to be the cool parents of the neighborhood. And instead of raising him properly, they only spoiled him, and when they wanted to rectify his attitude they did it with many mistakes. They admitted their mistakes and assumed all the responsibility, which made me appreciate them even more. They even admitted with great shame that they convinced my husband's ex-girlfriend to end her relationship with their son since they believed that she was a bad influence on him. My mother-in-law noticed how old my clothes were and took me shopping. Meanwhile, my father-in-law and I became very close. He always had advice to improve my work as a secretary, since he is a businessman and has a lot of experience in the administrative field. I do not need to clarify that my marriage was a marriage without sex. I was the one who took the initiative, and sometimes my husband, due to the stress of work, was never in the mood. One day that marked the beginning of the end. I already had a week without seeing my in-laws, and I left work early. My father-in-law's work was not very far from mine, so I called him to grab a lunch. He enthusiastically accepted. We went to an elegant place. I told him that I couldn't afford it, and he laughed and told me that the bill was for him. While we waited for the food, we were talking. He rubbed my knee or my shoulder while he flattered me, and strangely it didn't bother me. On the contrary, I felt fine. It wasn't planned or anything like that, but with our eyes we told each other everything. After eating, without saying a word, we went to a hotel and yes, we had sex. After that, and coming back to myself totally repentant, I called my mother-in-law, crying to confess what I had done, accepting to take all the blame as saying that I did not give her an option or something like that in order to save her marriage. But surprisingly, instead of getting angry or yelling at me, she told me, "Oh, and how did it go with my tiger?" I was shocked. Did she already know? I thought. Seeing that I didn't answer, I think, she guessed the situation and told me, "I think we have to talk. Why don't you come tomorrow night?" And I accepted. Dinner was tense. I couldn't look my mother-in-law in the eye. I only looked guiltily at my father-in-law, who returned my gaze smiling. Then she broke the silence and apologized in advance for what she was going to tell me. He said they only knew me in photos, and right away they were curious to meet me. They used the pretext of reconnecting with their son to approach me. At first I was in shock, I didn't know what to think. It's true that I also felt a special connection with them, but I didn't know how much. My mother-in-law made me a proposal, to be my father-in-law's concubine. We could do whatever we wanted whenever we wanted. I asked them about their son and if he would find out, and they showed little interest. He had already cut ties with them. I did not know that, but apparently my husband told them shortly after giving us the money not to show up again in his life. That of course bothered me for his part, not having told me anything, although of course I didn't tell him that I was secretly seeing his parents for fear of enraging him, so I didn't give it importance. I told them I was going to think about it because all that was new to me. The following days I tried to fix things with my husband. I wanted to re-establish communication, anything that would make me say no to my in-laws' proposal, but it seemed that my husband was trying hard to make me take the wrong decision. It was just fights, insults, discussions. Totally upset, I called my father-in-law and told him I accepted. That day I was furious because my husband kicked me out of my house. We met in a hotel, and we had sex again, with the difference that now I didn't feel guilty. I was falling in love, and I let him know, and the happy man told me, "We are also in love with you." My husband and I ended the relationship in a hard and difficult divorce. He accused me of having been unfaithful to him, something that I flatly denied, but in the end we were able to separate. I went to live with my now ex-in-laws. Everything was going wonderfully. We were even expecting grandchildren, but everything fell apart when my ex-husband discovered it and exposed me to the whole world. My own family turned their back on me. It's not that we were very close, but they denied my existence. That really hurt me. They no longer invite me to meetings or to the holidays. My loving in-laws tell me that I shouldn't care. We had to move to another city since everyone we knew about it and kept pointing fingers at us. But that my relatives deny my existence has really affected me, and I don't know what to do. Currently I live happily with my partners, but that happiness is fragile compared to the fact that I practically don't have a family anymore, only my lovers. I just wanted to get this off my chest. I'm not looking for advice or anything like that.